Okay, in this video, we're looking at the same set of data on heights of students in a class of 24 students. And this video is going to be focusing on measures of spread. We kind of see it up here in the upper right hand or upper left hand corner. And what spread is shows the range uh, of heights in the class. You know, do you have a tight range? Is everyone roughly the same height? Or do you have a larger range where you have some shorter people, some really tall people, and there's a big difference between them? So we call that range. Another word that comes into play with range is called variance. So if it has a large variance, that means it has a large spread or a large range. If it has a tighter variance, then that means, or shorter or smaller variance, then that means everyone's closer together. So range, by definition, is taking the max and minusing the min. So if we take a look here, change colors here, we would take the max, and let's first, I guess, before we get to the definition, let's label all the pieces. So this is the max over here. The tallest person in the class is 80. The minimum is the shortest person, so that's 58 inches. And then we have these here, okay? So there's 64.5, that's quartile 1. And then 71 is quartile 3. And again, we can get those up here. So if we took our data of 24 students and separate them into 4 groups, the position between the first and second group is quartile 1. And between third and fourth group is quartile 3. Then obviously in the middle, we either call it quartile 2, or sometimes we call it obviously the median. Okay, so those things come into play. And then we can see that right here. So I'll just label it as right here next to it, quartile 2. So those are your 3 positions, okay? So the range is the overall spread of the entire set of data. So we simply just take the max minus the min and calculate. So in this case, we have 80 minus 58, and we're going to get 22. So we would say that the overall range or the spread of this data is 22. The difference between the tallest and the shortest is 22 inches. So that's what we're looking at there. And then we have this thing called the interquartile range. And that looks at like not, you know, you might have one short person and one tall person. But what about like a larger group of the class, like the main 50%? So if we're looking at that, I'm going to outline this. What is the range of this middle 50%? This is the interquartile range. So to do that, we take Q3 minus Q1. We want to know how big is it from here to here. What's the range of this middle 50%, the box? So maybe I'll just kind of put that here. You know, what's the range of the box? So in this case here, we have 71 minus 64.5. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Let me rewrite that. That just didn't turn out good. $64.5. So obviously there we have 6.5 if I calculate right. Sorry about that. This pen's getting a little away from me here. Let's try this again. 6.5. Okay. So that means the range or the spread of that middle 50% is 6.5 from there to there. So I'm going to put another keyword here, middle 50. Again, trying to tag with certain text and contextual meaning here. Now the mean absolute deviation is, you know, first we have to calculate the mean. We did it in another video. We found the total sum of all these divided by 24, and it came out to the mean was 67.3. Repeating, okay? And obviously that's not going to show up in the box whisker, but obviously it shows up right about here. So here's where the mean is. The mean absolute deviation is how far away you from the average of the class. Okay, so if you look at this person at the max at 80 inches, how far is 80 away from the average? So you'd simply just take 80 minus the average, okay? And in this case here, we're talking, oh, what's that? 12.6. I did my math right there. So 12.6. So you'd say that the maximum person is 12.6 inches away from the average. Okay, and it doesn't have to be the maximum. It could be any point. You know, you could pick, this person right here. You know, at 72 inches. How far is 72 away from the average? Well, we're going to take a look there. That's 4.6 away. Inches, obviously. Okay, so you could pick any point of data, and you're just comparing it to the middle or the average or the mean as we look. Okay, we'll have a second video later on that shows how we can use the calculator to calculate all these. But again, this video talks about conceptually what the different spreads are and how do we calculate these vocabulary terms.